Welcome to the 2.0 Grandma Podcast, a space created by a grandma for grandmas and all about grandmas. Our mission is clear: to empower and support grandmas as they redefine, realign, and redesign their lives.
I just want to welcome you to the 2.0 Grandmas Podcast. Now, this is the podcast that's for grandmas, right? About grandmas and by a grandma. Now, that doesn't mean that all my guests are grandma, because all of them are not. Some are. Most of them are, because I really want to see and hear about what grandmas are doing out there, because I think what happens is we inspire other people to do things, to live that gutsy life, if you will. So, so I'm very excited to have you on today, because I really want our listeners, our followers, and our community at large to kind of hear what you're talking about. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So first, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to the Grandmas 2.0 community, Miss Vernie, yeah, and your middle name. Tell me your middle name again, because I wrote down the back, but I didn't write down the Norwood, Vernie Norwood Bound. Is that right? Am I saying it right? Okay.
Yes.
The gutsy midlife coach. So I want to hear what she has to say, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy what she has to say this afternoon. So, Bernie, tell us who you are. Give us your background first, and then we'll jump right into your platform.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Marshall, like I said, for having me. I'm honored, just to be here.
Thank you.
So, so as you said, I am the gutsy midlife coach. And what that is that I do one-to-one coaching with midlife women that are looking for more in their life. Whatever that more is,
Oh,
different career, a new love, a new passion, whatever that is. I just need them to know that just because we're grandmas, or maybe just because, we're midlife women, we have so much life to live. And
yes.
so I'm all about that. So again, like I said, I coach midlife women one-to-one on what that is, what that next looks like for them.
Okay, that's pretty exciting when I think about it, because like you said, there's so many things that we want our 2.0 version to be like, right? So,
Yes, yes.
call it the 2.0 version, right? So it's like, so when I was younger, I was this way. When I became an adult, I was this way. Then when I became a parent, I was this way. And a wife, I was this way. But now it's like I'm coming to my own. I can change the game if I want to, right? That's how I.
Exactly. That's how I see it too.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of this. And I love what you said about changing the narrative, right? You empower
Yes,
middle to embrace their full potential, and we are rewriting the narratives. I love, love, love that.
yes,
And that
yes, we
means
are.
that chapter can be the way that you want it to be.
Exactly. You say that because I'm also a grandmother. I'm a
Okay,
grandmother of two. I have two grandsons. They
okay.
are 10 and 12,
Oh,
and they keep me busy as well. Also, I have a day job. I have a day job,
uh-huh.
and I am a Army reservist.
Uh-huh. Wow, you got a lot going on. You're like my twin. Okay.
I do. I have a very heavy plate, but I, managed to hold that up and just passionate about what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I even started this gutsy midlife coach. So for me, gutsy means determined, that you
Yeah.
have the courage and all of that. And so starting that, this was my next, as we talk about what are we going to do next? Well, this is my next after my day job and after the Army Reserves, which on both I have just a couple of years, and I will be in what they call traditional retirement. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not for me. So I will
You're
be
definitely
in
my twin
full,
girl.
Yeah, that's not for me. So I will be in full gutsy midlife coach to the end.
So now tell me, what does that look like? If I were to come to you, what would we do? What kind of things would we do for that whole the coaching of to be, because the goal is to try to get people on a journey so that they are more courageous, right? More determined to do the things that they want to do. Is that right? Is that what that
That
means?
is, yes, that is. That's very true. So if you were to come to me, or the clients that I have that have come to me, we do an assessment. We sit down to figure out what you need, or what it is that you're looking for in your second half,
Mm,
and we do some little what I call foundation stuff too, because sometimes, we have to work on that. That means, maybe getting rid of these limiting belief, old-fashioned thinking, reset our mindset, get a little more confidence,
mm,
about this second half. So we may start with some of those foundation things. It just depends on where you are and where you're trying to get. Now,
huh.
my coaching, we do it for 4 months. So it's 12 weeks, 4 months. And we work on whatever it is that you think that you need to work on, that is going to help you get to your next. And that's whatever that is. So that's normally what I take my clients through, is just an assessment of what they want.
Okay. So this is asking them questions about what they want that second
Ye-
chapter to be and that sort of thing. And
Exactly.
helping them get there, so to speak, right?
Exactly.
So it's 4 months.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I love that. I like that. I like that. And so it's not that you're designing a life for them, it's you
No.
are in partnership with them and kind of coaching them through, because sometimes even if we compare it to like a basketball team and you're the basketball coach, right? Sometimes they're going to be low. Sometimes you're not going to score as much. Sometimes, you're going to be like, oh, woe is me. I'm tired, whatever. But you're on the sidelines here coaching and saying, no, you can do this. You can do this. Remember, you said you wanted to get 20 points per game. My job here is to help you get those 20 points. I'm going to show you how to do it. Is that
Exactly.
okay?
That's exactly what I do. I
Okay.
don't design the life, they design the life. And then together, like you said, we partnership, we collaborate to figure out how to get there. And I am the guide. Sometimes I'm the pusher. I'm pushing you into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but ultimately, it's you deciding, I want this, and you just doing the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And I believe that everybody needs a coach in their life. Now, I remember when coaching was just for athletes. Remember that? Remember,
Yes,
it was
yes.
just for athletes, and then they started the business coaching and the fitness coaches and the this coaching and the education. But now there are all kinds of coaches. But I do remember when it was just for athletes, and
Yeah.
it was. I remember my field is education, and so
Mm-hmm.
I coach teachers to around this instrument that we would do an assessment just like you, and then we would see where their areas of strengths were, areas of weakness, or areas for improvement were, and then we would
Mm-hmm.
coach those improvement areas, right, focusing on that. And that became their plan, right? And so I remember when we first started doing that, and people were like, well, teachers don't have coaches. I'm like, yeah, but we all need a coach. And now we know that we all need a coach. I have a friend who has a business coach. So this person coaches him to improve on his career. So, for example, I think he was interested in a certain position, and he was
Mm-hmm.
intimidated and afraid to go after. Well, the coach coached him, told him what to say, told him how to put his resume together to approach it, and is still coaching him through that process. He got the job, and he's had the job 2 years now, but he still has the coach, he says. And I'm like, wow. So basically, what that's saying to me is that everybody needs a coach, because we all get situations where we don't know how to manage them, don't know how to handle them. And it's always good to have almost like an advisor too, a person to say, yeah, so how should I handle that sort of thing? Yeah. So even
Mm-hmm.
coaches is what I
Oh
understand.
yeah.
Yes,
I
yes,
totally agree.
yes.
I have a business coach and I
Mm,
have a personal coach and I have
okay.
a therapist.
Oh, okay. So all of the above, right? And
All
then
the above I have.
it takes a village. You know what they say?
That is absolutely,
Yes, yes. I have a coach as
yes.
well. I have a coach who coaches me for my business. Now, I don't have a personal, what we call life coach, but I do coach other people through that sort of thing myself. But I don't
Mhm.
have a life coach. But I ask them all kinds of personal questions anyway. And I use my hairdresser as a life coach sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
you do have to do. But yeah, but coaching is a wonderful thing because again, it really helps people, just have sometimes an accountability partner, and sometimes it just gives you a confidant, a person that
Exactly.
you can tell some things to that are not going to get back to anybody else or whatever. Or, sometimes, like I said, there's an area for improvement. You talk about that and they help
Yeah.
you with, yeah. So how long have
Yeah.
you been doing this gutsy coaching?
So I have been a midlife coach now for 3 years. I've been coaching. And
Huh?
like I said before, I'm just doing one-on-one coaching
Uh-huh.
and I am keeping it to really small, a handful of women at a time as
Okay.
as I'm doing that. So I don't have this big, amount of women that I'm coaching. And I like it. I like it like that because it allows me to truly be there for them
Mm-hmm.
and, to make sure and to see them, all the way through the 4 month program that I have. And
Mm-hmm.
just having that small group along with the other things I do in my life, is just more manageable, for me. But like I said, I have a couple more years here and I will be in a traditional retirement and I will be going full steam with this thing, constantly building it to wherever, I see it going. And I
Mm-hmm.
see it being a big thing only because midlife women need this and they really don't know it.
Right.
They
That's the
don't know
thing.
it. And so, we look at that as, midlife women are doing so many things. Just like if you see right now on social media, I mean, I follow so many women, midlife influencers, midlife women that are starting a whole new career in midlife. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying this, I don't want to be cliche here, but this is not your mother's midlife. Midlife
Exactly.
women are doing so many things. They're saying, I did all of these things when I was younger, raised the kids, had a husband, helped him build his career, whatever, you did then. But now they're saying, hey, I'm ready now for me. What do I want? And I'm going, whatever that means, I'm going all out for it.
Yes, yes, yes. That is the same thing we that I say about grandmothers. And the grandmothers are always the one that people expect them to take care of the kids while they go out and work or either go out and have fun. And the grandma's the one at home who's taking care of the kids. Or they expect grandma to give them money because most of the time grandmas are established enough that they might have a little extra income, right? Or a little extra money. So
Yes.
give them money.
Hmm.
Everybody comes to grandma for that. But guess what?
Hmm.
Grandmas like to have fun too, right?
Exactly.
What
Exactly.
for our life as well. It's our time. It is our time to do some things for ourselves. And some people feel guilty about that. And I say to them, don't feel guilty because guess what? If you don't take care of yourself, you will not be any good for anybody else.
That is true. And that's a hard
Yes,
one, I think, for us to swallow,
yes.
sometimes as older women, because we come from that, era, our grandmothers, our mothers, they were just nurturers. And then, we know all together just women are just nurturers. So
Mhm.
it is so hard for us to, think about ourselves. But I mean, this is the perfect time when you think about I've given, 20 plus years to whatever, and now it's my time to figure out, what it is I want. Sometimes we have to figure out who we are in this season because
Yes,
we
yes,
have, kind of forgotten that as well. So we start from there. Who are we? And then what do I want now? I don't want, the same things because I've already did those things. I want something new and something that just has, to do with me, a passion, a love, a dream. We talk about that all the time. A dream that maybe you had to put on
yeah.
hold because you were raising children or, whatever it was doing. Now is your time to, just pull all of that back out and decide what it is that I want. But like you said, the biggest thing for us is we just feel guilty. And
Yes.
like you said, we should not feel guilty because we've taken care of people.
Yes.
So now it's our
Everybody.
chance to take care of ourselves.
Yes. I tried to get my mom years ago. I tried to get her to focus on herself because she raised us, of course. There was six of us, then an additional seven, my
Hmm.
son. So that was seven children that she had come through her house. Then she started raising grandchildren, right? And two
Hmm.
of those, and then she started raising great grand. I'm like, girl, what you gonna do?
Yes.
When are you going
Mhm.
to do you? Come on now. This is ridiculous.
Yes.
And
Yes.
one of my brothers has a 10-year-old, I think he's probably 11 or 12 now, had a 10-year-old son, and he was getting himself in trouble at school and all this. And I told my mom, and she said, well, I guess I'm gonna have to take the little boy. I said, look, I said, first of all, you're too old to run after young children. She said, well, he's not.
Hmm.
I know that part, but you're too old. You don't want to do that. This is your time in life to enjoy your life. Why do you want to continue to do the same thing but expect to get different results? That's not how it works. So I try to
Hmm.
advise her on this, and well, but they need. I understand that. I
Hmm.
understand that you might think that they need you or whatever, but guess what? Let the parents take care of their own kids because guess you're not able to do that right now. She's 80 some years old. Come on now.
Hmm.
When are you gonna give
Yeah.
her a break? Get a grip. That
Yeah.
makes sense. And it just really upsets me when I think about it. And then she wanted to take it on. And I'm like, why?
Hmm. Yeah.
That
I
why.
really understand that. Yeah, I understand that because same thing. My mom is like that. My mom is in her 70s. And so of course, my grandchildren are her great grandchildren. And
Mhm.
so she's always, doing or taking them somewhere. And I'm like, they have parents.
Right.
It's okay sometime, but they don't, this is your time so that you can go and live your life and do stuff. But she goes, but they keep me so young. And I can see that too, because, they're active, they keep her, moving. But then on that same token, it's some day she called me and like, I'm so exhausted. I can't get up. And I said, because you've worn yourself down, still taking care of other people. What about take care of you for a moment?
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I do understand that.
I told her, so recently I went to see Tabitha Brown this past Sunday, right? And her new book is I Did a New
Uh-huh.
Thing, right?
Uh-huh.
So I said every day I'm going to post a new thing that I'm going to do. So yesterday well, actually I posted this morning for yesterday. And I said I did a new thing. I'm a professor. That's my full-time job, right? And so I
Okay.
teach, but I teach online. And I had a class, I had a Sunday we went to see her, so we were out late for that. Then Monday I had my first class for the semester. Then Tuesday I had another class. Wednesday I had another class. Thursday I had an interview. By Friday I was worn completely out, and I had two Zooms on Friday. And so I said, okay, I had to do a new thing, which was I had to listen to my body. And girl, get your butt in the bed and lay down.
Exactly.
It was like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, but I had to do it because I needed to do that for myself. So my new thing for that day was to listen to my body because I don't always do that because I'm an
Hmm.
overachiever by nature. I tend to do so much, right? And then I don't listen.
Yes.
So I said, okay. So sometimes, but my point is that I was trying to get my mom to do a new thing, and that is be selfish.
Yes.
And when people say self-care does not mean selfish, even though people just say, oh, well, you being selfish. No, I'm taking care of myself.
Yes.
And that's the first and most important thing in your life. So, and I think if we can get women to even embrace that thought, it could be a whole new day for them, a whole new day. If they just embrace that one thing, take care of yourself first.
Exactly. And what they don't know sometimes, or they don't think about, is that they if they take care of their self, they would be able to give more to others. They don't
Mhm.
think about, that in terms, I don't think, they just think about, that I need to be constantly being there for somebody because that's who I am, and so I should just be there for them,
Mhm.
but not knowing that when you pour into yourself, really, getting the rest you need, whatever that is, that you pour into yourself, eating right, exercising, that is what gives you the strength. That what gives you the energy to be able to pour into somebody else.
Yep, 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 yep. And
So,
again,
you
if you
know,
don't do that, it will tell on you and then you will wear yourself out and you don't want that either. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. So now tell
yes.
me, what is your program? Tell me about kind of like the foundation. I know you said there's a plan, you help people create a plan, and I guess you kind of help them work that plan, right? And what components of life do you look at, so to speak?
We look at, so I look at whatever it is that they want to work on. So we work on, if they're saying, I want to pivot from the career I have, to another career,
Okay.
we figure out how to make those steps to make that happen.
Mhm.
If it's, I want to, do something, totally different. I want to, so like I have a lady that she's getting ready to move out of the country.
Mhm.
And, and I think, that's a wonderful thing, for her. And I follow, some people on Instagram that have done that. So
Yeah.
there's a whole thing about, you
Yeah.
know, uh, women, people, and
Uh-huh.
mostly though, the group that I follow are older women. So
Uh-huh.
that have decided to move to another country.
Yep.
So, I mean, like I said, there is no like real foundation for what I do. It's what you come
Okay.
in and you are needing help with, you know, and then those are the things that we work on and map that out. What does that look like? And that's
Uh,
a big thing because that's one of my first questions, of as whatever it is we're planning is, what does it look like to you? Because you have to have a vision. What does it look like to you? And then more importantly, what does it feel like? What do you think is going to feel like when you reach that, whatever it is you want to reach, whatever that goal is,
okay.
and like I said, it could be several things. Like I say, I have some women that just need to build up their confidence in this time to get to their next, or like we said, wanting to start another career, wanting to just really take care of themselves, wanting to say no without guilt,
Mm, mm,
you
mm.
know, just whatever it is. When they, come, like I said, I have an assessment form. We fill it out. Or I don't fill it out. I'm sorry. They fill it out. It's real detail to what it is that you want to work on. But I will tell you this, sometimes we want to work on a lot of different things. What I try to tell them is do not get overwhelmed because you will not keep up with it.
Mm,
So we will work on one thing at a time, and you can always come back and we can work on something else.
mhm. Okay.
And I'm actually working on putting together maybe some mini courses that are self that you could go on, inline, get on there and do it yourself. It's a self course. I
Mm-hmm.
would, pop in, you possibly get a one-on-one with me and just evaluating how you're doing in it. That's something I'm looking, at further down the line.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, just right now is just working on, one thing at a time. Because
Right.
sometimes what happens too to some people is the overthinking, the over, will get you so caught up that you're just all over the place.
Yeah.
And you may need to
Analyze.
work on more than one thing. So,
Yes.
like I said, we just try to work on one thing at a time. And what for the next thing to them, I'm asking them, what is the most important thing you need to work on that is going to maybe be the motivator to keep you going to accomplish all the other things?
Mm-hmm.
And for instance, that could be stop being a people pleaser
Mm.
so that you can, work on other things, or to gain confidence. Because we know if you have confidence, in yourself, then you can do other, things. So, like I said, it just depends. It's
Mm-hmm.
really for me, client led.
Right. Okay. So
So
custom
it's
client.
really custom, to the client.
Okay.
It's, um, actually led to them. Like I said, if they come to me, right now, I just have people in my one-on-one that have been referred by other people. Like
Mm.
I am really not even advertising, this. Like right now, I don't have a website.
Mm.
I make some content on Instagram, but I don't even have a website. My clients that I have are just word of mouth. I will, one will finish, in the 4-month program and
Mm-hmm.
they will refer someone else. And
Ah.
that is how I've been able to keep, going and
Oh,
keep a constant clientele. And I'm really grateful for that.
yes. 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 Yes.
I'm
That's.
really, really grateful for that. And like I said, as I'm pivoting away from my full time, I am constantly looking for ways how I'm going to build my business up to other things and expanding. And part of that too has just been coming into, Instagram and getting, a following
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
other platforms.
Right. 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 So I hope you follow us. I don't know if you do. I can't remember if you do, but if you
I
don't,
do.
okay.
I do.
So we are, I'm wanting to expand to do some different things, some face-to-face things that I haven't done because COVID of the last few years, and people are still a little bit afraid and intimidated, to do face-to-face things. But I want to do some face-to-face things and meet up. Are you in? What state are you in?
I'm sorry.
What state are you in?
I'm in Las Vegas, or I'm
You're in
in Nevada. I'm in
Nevada.
Las Vegas. That's the city. I'm in Nevada.
You're in Nevada. Okay, 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 okay. Perfect. Okay, okay. Yeah, so I just actually just had a young lady who reached out to me from Vegas. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, a beautiful young girl who happens to be a grandma. Very fascinating. But grandmas we come in all ages.
Yes.
Yeah, coming
Yes.
up, and some even. So I used to say that my organization is for women 40 plus, grandmas, but and women 40 plus, but there are grandmas who are younger than 40 even.
Mm.
Yeah, there are some that are younger, for very few, but there are some because maybe they had their children young and then their children had their children young, and so that's just a fact of life. But this whole
Mhm.
genre, there's another woman. Do you remember you remember the Golden Bachelor? That
Yes.
show?
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
remember Natasha that was on there? Natasha,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So Natasha, what does she call herself? The midlife. What does she call herself? The midlife coach, the midlife something like that. But it's very very similar, and I think we're all in this genre. So, I was thinking, I said, you know what, we all need to get together and have a conference just around
Yes.
life, you know.
Yes, it's funny that you say that because I was just thinking that this morning. I
Mhm.
really was. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, we need to have a conference of midlife women because, like I said before, there's midlife women that I follow that are in really big into helping with menopause,
Yes,
fitness.
yes,
Uh, we have our midlife influencers out
yes,
there that that are modeling with beautiful clothes.
yes.
We really need to come together somewhere and have a whole, yes, midlife conference with just women our age
Mhm.
showcasing all
Mhm.
of these things that we're doing after 50, that
Right.
we are not sitting around. We
Mhm.
don't have that, you know other picture, or of sitting around. I don't want to say, sitting around in rocking chairs knitting or stuff.
But
Maybe that's too
that,
old,
but
but
that's what people believe,
but I'm saying,
Mhm.
yeah, I want to
Mhm.
remove that picture because
And
that
that
is
is,
not the new midlife woman. That
that
is
is
not.
no, that's not. I remember when I
Yeah.
first started Grandma's 2.0, I was looking for graphic pictures, like how you look for pictures on online
Yes.
for a flyer or something, and all I found
Yes.
were women that, and I put in the word grandma. So when I put in the word grandma, I found women that were really frail looking, or women that were wearing muumuus, or women. And I'm
Yes.
like, that's not what today's grandma looks like.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Ah, honey, okay, you better ask somebody, right? Not, yeah, they are not like that at all. And I was like,
Oh.
wow. So that really says that there is a misconception here. There's a
Mm-hmm.
myth that grandmas look a certain way. And I'm like, no, not anymore. Now, maybe grandmas of the past look like that, but today's grandma does not look like that. Today's grandma might be wearing shorts, some, as the kids call it, Daisy Duke shorts, or some uh, or some stilettos, or the shorts and the stiletto. I mean, you just can never tell, right? And
That
most
is
people like to
true.
be working out. I mean, everybody's into health and fitness. Yeah. So it's a new day. It's really a new day. And the same thing goes for midlife. It's a new day because most grandmas fall
It
into that
is.
category as well. So it really would make sense for all of us to come together, or some of us. I can't say all of us because there's lots of people out there to actually focus on, and like you say, have a midlife conference. You know,
Yes. I think
and
it would be awesome.
a couple people speaking, some people showcasing, some can be vendors. Yeah, it really would be a beautiful thing. It really would be a beautiful thing. Now, who needs to lead that up? I do not know, but it definitely happened. It really needs to happen because I think it's time, because there's more out there than what we really know. And when I went online to start my organization, and I looked to see if there was any, not a lot of people were doing grandmas at the time. There were a couple, but there's a lot of midlife, which grandmas fall in that category as well, right? Like I'm interviewing a woman who, she calls herself the old lady games. And first I thought it was
Hmm.
game, but she calls it game. So I'm interviewing her. I interviewed,
Hmm.
who's the woman? Life After 50, I think it's called. So there's
Hmm.
just so many. There's just so many organizations out there that it just makes sense to yeah, do something together, because there's educational conferences, there's social work conferences, but there's no, as far as I know, there's no national organization of all of us, right? You know what I
No,
mean?
there's not.
Not
There's
that I
not.
know of. Now, if there is, I would
Hmm.
like to know, because then they would be the ones to lead this. And then,
Yes.
the rest of us. But I don't think that there is.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but if you hear something, please let me know. And if I hear something, I will let you know. Because I really think
I will.
yeah, I really think it's our time to do something like this. I really do. So,
It
but
truly is.
yeah. So, but I've enjoyed talking to you today. Anything else you want to tell us about your platform, and before we go, and then of course I want you to tell your social media handles and how people can get in touch with you.
Okay. So, like I was saying, I only coach one-on-one a small group of women. I am going to be putting something on my Instagram, a link, just how to get in touch with me for the one-on-one coaching, if anybody's interested in that. So I'm going to be putting that on there soon. And my Instagram handle is at Gutsy Midlife Coach. And I am also on Facebook, and that's my same handle, Gutsy Midlife Coach. And so I'm usually on there, posting something, doing polls or doing questions, just asking midlife women, what's next for you? What are you thinking about doing? Um, like that. But I am going to, continue, to do this. And then I just want, midlife women to know that there is so much more left, that there's, we are living way longer. I know, there's things happen, you get an accident, you get ill, things like that. But as a whole, we are living so much longer. So I'm always saying we have 30 or 40 more years left. What are you going to do with those 30 or 40 years?
And let's not just live them by chance. Let's do something we really want to do. We've always wanted to do. Yes. Like for me, I always wanted to write. I always wanted to be an author. So I did that. I'm like, okay, so now, but again, and it makes life so much more rewarding personally as an individual. It makes life much more fun because now you're trying things you never tried before. It actually is. I always say, girl, like when with my friend, I'm like, girl, I am living the life of Riley. I'm having a good time over here.
And that's what it's about. It is about living life to the most and to the fullest, of what we can do. And that means expanding, opening up your mindset to the things out there that maybe you didn't even know. We think about that now, about like the Instagrams, the TikToks, the social medias. A couple of years ago, or not, a little more than a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would have never been on these platforms because I'd say, oh, that's for young people. But when I get on there now and I look at so many, like I said, midlife women, the women that we talk about, the women that are fitness people, the women that are influencers for their genre, for their age group. I mean, there is so much happening out there. But had I not, opened up my mind, looked at these things, I wouldn't know that. And so I think sometimes as, women, human beings, older women, whatever, is that we don't know. We don't know, back to that thing, we don't know what we don't know.
No, right, right.
And so, there is so much opportunity and so much out there that you may have not even thought was possible, that it is possible. It's finding it out and figuring it out and creating it if you have to.
Right. Hello. And if it's not out there, create it. Right.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I was looking, I'm about to do a training on podcasting, right? So one of the things that I started doing my research and just thinking, when did podcasts really start? I remember when I first moved to DC and I worked for this organization, our job was to put content up online, to create content, put content online. And I kept thinking, wow, the content that we put online would be nice to do it in a podcast, right? Because at that time, people only listen to podcasts when they were in the gym or in the car, whatever, right? And they use the iPod. Right. Remember the iPods, right? And so that's what made podcasts popular. But now podcasts, there's like $1 billion sales in podcasts. Just podcasts alone. We're not even talking music. Podcast is just basically audio. It's not, and sometimes video, but basically, and so I'm like, wow, that is so fascinating. And again, it goes back to we don't know what we don't know, and we need to be open to try and receptive to try, because my daughter, like getting back to social media, my daughter said, Mom, you do not need to be on social media. And I was like, nigga, how does that work? Right? Well, how does it work? And then, you hear all these horror stories. Well, somebody got a kid and raped a girl, and they was talking to the girl online, said he was 10, and actually he was 30, all these kind of crazy stories,
Yes,
right?
yes.
All those crazy stories. And then what was another one? Oh yeah, so and so was caught messing with this person they met online, and now they divorced. You hear all those kind of negative stories, but you never think about the good things. And I'm like, no, well, I'm just going to use it for business. That's all. I'm just going to use
Yes.
it just for my business. That's all I'm going to use it. Well, you need to know how to do it, and that's young people telling somebody who's older about social media, and they want to discourage you. So of course they want to give you all the negative, right? So I said, no, I think for my business. And I'm glad I did, because I'm also a person that I like to try new things to kind of see how it, like some people say, well, no, I don't want to do that because, but I'm like, well, no, let's just see what it has to offer, because you just never know. Right. And so getting that
Exactly.
mindset and being kind of being receptive to new things is also something that I think we need to make sure that we do at a certain age too, because if not, we're going to be behind. Like I asked my mom, like if somebody says like she goes to the store or tries to do, like I think it was a car insurance, she said, well, they need an email and I don't have an email. Can I give them yours? But you can't answer my email. They send you. You have your
Yeah.
own email, but I don't know how to do it. Well, it's time you learned. Okay. That
Yeah.
sort of. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to encourage people to be receptive about. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this conversation could go on and on and on, but I tried for 30 minutes, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to
Okay.
be respectful. But I thank you again for being on with me, and I really like your platform and what you're doing. And I think I follow you. I think I started following you once we found you out there. So we're going to continue to do that. And if we can think of some ways that we can collaborate, please let me know. I'd love to invite you on for one of my webinars or something like that, because I think it's really important that women who are grandmas really hear what other women are doing who are also grandmas. And that inspires them and may even motivate them to do something that they want to do, a dream that they have. So I'm all about that. Okay. So please, thank you.
Exactly.
And I really appreciate you coming on today. And I look forward to getting to know you better.
Same here. Thank you, Dr. Marshall, for inviting me to come on and to speak with you. And yes, from what my thought was this morning to what you said about us midlife women, we need to figure out how to connect
Yes.
so
Yes.
that we can have some kind of conference for
Yes.
midlife women.
Yes. Now, do you know, and I always say this, but this is kind of like a sidebar. You've heard of the Salt and Pepper Gang and the Silver Fox Squad?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how they do those reels when they all walk into place at the same time? That is
Yes.
so powerful, isn't it?
It is. It
And I'm
is.
like, we need to do something like that where all of us come together, or not all of them, but because there may be millions out there, but let's just say two of us come together and we do
Yeah.
something like that. And I mean, that would just, like, as they say, shut the internet down. I don't know if it really would, but people like to use that terminology. Oh, y'all shut
Yes.
the internet down, right? But I mean, really, I think that is very powerful when they do that. And I don't see
Mm-hmm.
women doing that. And I'm like, now, if these guys can do that, women can do the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? We could get
Exactly.
all in one place
Exactly.
and do something like that. That would be so powerful.
It would be.
So let's do it.
All right, I'm in.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Sounds like a plan, because we definitely need to do something like this. And it doesn't matter where you are. I think, there may, knowing what we know now about, how distance can still, even though we're far apart, we can still be close together. There may be a way to do it, even if we're not in the same space, because with
Yes.
technology now you can do all sorts of things. So who knows? I personally don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to do it, but there are some people out there that do know how to do those kinds of things, right?
Exactly.
So you just
Yes,
never,
right.
yeah. So, well, it's been a pleasure, Vernie. I really appreciate you coming on, and I really like your platform, and I'm so happy to get to know you. And I will definitely stay in touch. right. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.